are back inside MatrixGold once again. Thanks for tuning in. I hope the videos are helping you in your designing process. If they are, please go ahead and hit that subscription button. Tap on that notification bell for further content. Leave me a like, and please, if you have a few seconds, drop a little comment down below it. Really appreciate it. Help me out. My algorithm needs it. Also share and like the content if you find it useful. And if you'd like to buy me some coffee, donate some coffee to the cause, you can hit the super thanks button around this area here. Today we're going to talk about loft parametric a little bit, and point editing, kind of getting a organic shape item, but with using surface modeling. So well, let's just get going on it. So I'm going to first go to my tools and grab a ring rail, right? So we'll just go here and grab that. First thing I want to do is go straight back to my seam and change that seam, because we do not want the kink at the top, or the knot, I should say, at the top of the another kink at the top of the item. So I'm just going to select that. I'll go straight back to my tools, grab an outside ring rail, and we'll adjust it however high we want it. And then of course I make mine 2.5 by 2.5, like rings that go thud, not ting. Just they're heirlooms, right? You want to hand it down to your grandchildren and keep it in the family for as long as you can, right? So make them thick. And give the customer what they deserve, right? Of course, it costs them a little bit of money. Not everybody wants to pay that money, but that's the way I like to make them. Now, again, we're going to go back and change that seam, because we do not want that kink or knot at the top. So we got it, those two. Now I'm going to take those and change them back to our layer, our ring rail layer there, right? Okay, I'll switch to yellow now, go to our creation layer. And I'll go to my art direction and then snap that out there. Now, again, if you're going to be changing size or manipulating this outside curve or anything, you're going to want to take it higher than what you actually needed, so that when you do change it through parametric, it'll update. Because if you take it past this curve, you're going to lose the surface. It'll leave a gap wherever the curve doesn't go. So I'm going to take it up a little bit high, and then I'll bring it down something like this, and just kind of give it a little bit of shape there. And right away, I'll go ahead and change this to gray, because we're going to need to keep it, and I'll just turn it off at a later date. So what we have here, we're going to go to curve from two views, and I'll select this one, and then right click to accept that, right click to bring back the command, select my outside curve, and select that curve there. And now we can go ahead and we can adjust this any way we want, and everything will update, right? So let's no, I don't want that. I want to go back. Okay, so we'll just take it, say this is good for us. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and turn that points off by hitting escape, and then I'm going to hide that gray right there. And I'm going to select those two, go to transform, parametric mirror in my X direction, not my Y, and then right click to accept that. And as you can see, these will be grouped because we mirrored them. And I'm going to ungroup them. Now, ungroup does not break history, so no worries. So I'm going to select this curve and go turn my points back on just to show, and I can move this, and it's going to update everything, no problem. So I'll go back. All right, get rid of those points by hitting escape. I'm going to go ahead and select this right now, and I'm going to do a full save, because we're going to come back. There's something I want to show before we get going too much into this. All right. So I have my curves out here that I want. So I want an organic type shape, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to loft, right? Now it's important, believe it or not, where you pick these curves. All right, so if I pick this top one here, top, bottom, bottom, and then right click, I get a surface like this, right? And then if I come over here to hit closed, it'll give me a nice little surface. But if I go to here, you can see this line is thicker, that's where your knot is, right? That's where the two surfaces are joining together, and that could pose issues because if we want to do work up here at the top and coming down, and I'll show what I mean, just so everybody has a very good understanding of this. So let's go to my curve here, and I'll extract an ISO curve from this surface. And we'll just come over here. I think this will show it, yeah. And then I'll right click to accept that. I'll right click to bring it back. I'll switch this one 90 degrees. And then we'll bring this one down because we want to do some cutting out on this surface. We want to do some pave work. We're just right in this area here, right? We're going to change this up later, but this just kind of shows something. I'm going to grab this curve, go to transform, mirror in the X direction, not the Y, so it comes over to the other side, and then right click, and then I'll grab this one here, and then right click to bring back mirror, and it slaps it over there, and right click to accept that, right? I'm going to hide my green layer here and just select all this, and we'll just do some trimming. All right, so we'll get rid of this, this, and this, and all this down here, and get rid of all that over there. And now you need to make sure that you grab all these little pieces here, and then I'll right click to accept it. I'll keep it highlighted and go straight to my join, and then I'll click on it and check close curve, so we know that there's no little pieces sticking out anywhere, right? It's a closed curve. Okay, so let's turn back on our green now. Okay, and there's our kink right there. So let's take our surface and let's split it with our yellow, and then hit enter. So now we have this, and as you can see, because of that kink being placed right there, we have two surfaces here. So I can't offset this. I'll have to do a lot of extra work that I don't have to do if I'm a little bit more cautious when I grab my curves for the how I choose my curves for the loft, right? So let me go ahead and just get rid of this here, and then we'll just grab a whole new one here, just so we can go back to where we were at this point here, right? It's before we did all that lofting and everything. So I'm just going to bring this back out, and it'll load up here, and it should give me everything, everything, right? And all the parametric history, right? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hide that gray again. Now, I'm going to go back to my parametric loft here, and this time what I'm going to do is grab this one, this one, this one, and this one. I'm going to right click, okay? And it gives me, again, where that kink is going to be at the top, right? But I can come over here, use curve selection order, the way I selected them, the bottom, the top, and then the bottom, right? I'm going to use that. So it changes it up. Now we're going to get a kink at the bottom of the item, which will be much better for what we're going to do for this item, right? And now I'll just go ahead and select closed, right? And I don't have my ring rails out there, so I'm just going to right now just go ahead and click, because we'll kind of show what's going on here. Let's see, outside ring rail, let's go ahead and click on here and show, and then our inside ring rail, let's go ahead and do our three dots and show that. And if we go to our front and we turn it to our item, we can see our surface is going well past our curves, right? So it's giving us a much thicker item there. Nice thing about parametric loft and all those other commands is you can go back and you can change those up. So we'll go back to edit, right? And now what we can do is we can go here, loft type, right? Now you can switch from loft normal to loft loose, which it really kind of hugs pretty close to our inside ring rail, and pretty close, but it's still a little different, right? Or we could go to tight, which kind of gives a little bit more toward the normal thing. Or we could go to straight, which kind of boxes it off. Or we can go to loft ununiform, which is something like this. And again, it's still going way past our ring rails and things, right? So you can see it's going still not as much, but it's still going there, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go to loose, right? And it's not as thick as I want, but the inside's really close, outside's very close, but I can do more manipulation if I want to, right? So I'll go ahead and click on that. Okay, so it's not maybe exactly what I want, so we're going to kind of play around with it. So what we can do is we can go to our outside ring rail, edit, and we can kind of bump that up. Maybe we want to bump this out a little bit, maybe bump that down. You know, you could do all kind of editing, right? So I'll just say that's good. We can also go back into our curve that we originally did the curve from 2 views with, and we can turn on our points here, and maybe we want this top a little wider. And maybe we want the bottom just a smidge wider, and maybe we want something like that, right? So you can go back and keep manipulating it, right? However you see fit. So, and again, just so we know, if we take that curve and we go to edit it past our item, or past our line here, we're going to lose our surface, right? So let's go back. So how far you have that curve above the outside ring rail is going to determine how much you can adjust it, right? We'll just say that this is good for right now. I'm going to get rid of those points, hitting escape. I'm going to hide that curve. Let's just say that this is kind of what we want, right? So you have all kind of options in your loft that you can kind of play around with. And we did the curves so that our kink is down here now, right? All right. And I can't remember if I explained that. I think I did. So let's go ahead and, sorry. We've got it like this now. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take this. And the nice thing about doing the loft like this is, one, it gives us a nice smooth surface, and it kind of looks like an organic or clay item, right? So we can do a lot of and the nice thing about this is it's a NURB surface. And how do we know? Type in what, and you can see a closed surface NURBS, right? So we can take this surface and turn on points. Okay, now with these points on, what we can do is maybe select these 2 over here, select these 2 over here. We can go to our transform, and we can scroll down till we see this move UVN. So we can click on that, and now we can move UVN points. We can move them in the U direction, the V direction, or the N direction, which is normal. And you can set how much the strength is right here on how fast they're going to move. So what we can do is we can kind of drag those points out so that we get a little surface like this going on. And is that, yeah, it looks like it's centered. Okay. And of course, anytime you edit points, you're going to break history. So it's always a good idea before you start doing your edit points to go ahead and save it, right? And I didn't, but anyway. So I'm going to hit escape to get rid of those, and so we have a little item like this going on. So right now I'll just go ahead and select or turn off my ring rails, and that curve now is down at the bottom, so it's not going to affect how we're going to do it unless you go past that curve, which is pretty much down inside there. So we'll go back to our curves. We'll go to extract ISO curve right here, and there's our curve, and we're going to take it way over here, very close to this edge here. We'll just leave a little bit of edge right there. Right click to accept that, right click to bring it back, flip it in our 90 degree direction, and this time we're going to take it down something like this. And we're not going past the kink this time, right? So the kink's up here, down here, and our line is up there, and we'll accept that. Now we'll take this curve here, and we'll go to our transform, scroll to our mirror parametric, and in our X direction, not our Y, giving it on this side. And then again, we'll select this one here and right click to put it over to the other side there, right? And again, we'll just go ahead and hide those, and we'll select all this and go back to our trim, and again, do some trimming, right? And again, make sure you get rid of those little teeny pieces right there on the end. Just check it out. And then right click to accept it and go to join, and then you want to check it to make sure you have a closed curve before you move on. So turn this back on. Now we can select this surface, go to split with the yellow curve and hit enter. And now when we select the surface, it's all one piece. So it makes it much, much easier for us to continue to manipulate it, right? So we'll go to our surface and we'll scroll over here to our offset, and it's going in the wrong direction. So we want it down, so we're going to flip it in, and I have it set at a 0.04, and then I'll hit enter. So it gives us that surface there. So now we'll take this and explode it. And we'll take this top surface and we'll just go ahead and turn it to this color here. So now that we have this in here, and I'll take these yellow at this point and go ahead and hide them with the gray, put them on a gray layer, right? And then we have this surface here. So, and it's all one surface, right? It's all a trimmed NURB surface. So we won't be able, I believe, turn on, we can turn on points, but we don't really want to. Okay, so we have this. Now we can go to our gems and we can do a pave with this surface. But if you look at it, they're pointing it on the inside, right? A lot of times that'll happen. It's no big deal. Just back out of the command, select your surface, type in dir, hit enter, and you can see those white arrows are pointing down. We're going to need to flip them so that they're pointing out, and then hit that, accept it. Now we'll go and put our gems, and now we can put the gems out there so that they're all on the top surface, and they look good right there as they are. So I'm just going to go ahead and accept that, and a couple of them are touching. So what we'll do is we'll go back, delete it, go back, select that surface, go back here, and our little tolerances, right, for space between gems. Let's just bump that up one, see what it does for us between gems, and it kind of moves them out a little. Yeah, it's still touching right there. Let's bump it out one more, kind of see. Well, we got a little bit of space there. And it doesn't look too bad. So let's go ahead and see what this does for us. We'll accept it, and then we'll take those stones, we'll go to settings, and we'll go to pave prongs, and we have to select our surface, which will be that surface there. Give it a few minutes to lay all those prongs out, and I'm going to come over here and bump this up just a little bit, make those prongs a little bit overlapping a little bit easier, because they're going in all different kinds of directions. So it'll be maybe, I think, a little easier for the craftsman to lay out those stones. And you can adjust you know, all the height below girdle, height above girdle. So if you want to make them thick, taller or whatever, you can change them out as well. So it makes it just a little longer, right? So we have it like this, right? And I'll just accept that. And we have all our prongs laid out there. Now we have a nice little gap right here, nice, you know, on those corners. So what we can do is go to prong on surface, select our prong, and or select our surface, and then we can maybe just add an extra prong right in there, and we can kind of bump that down a little bit. You can change the diameter of it if you want. Let's see, where's our diameter? Let's make it a little bit thicker. And we'll just go ahead and take that, and you can take this one, go to transform, mirror, X, Y, and multi. So now it puts it on all the edges. So it kind of just closes up that little space there, right? And if you don't like where it's at, you can always just go back and edit, and you can come in here and maybe move it around, and it should update on all those. I don't know why it, oh, okay. That's not a good area right there. So let's just go ahead and delete those mirrors, and let's go to this, and this will just go to edit, and now we'll just add our own in where we want it, just to kind of close up these areas. Maybe we can want to put one right here, and you can always adjust and move wherever you want. You can close up these areas that, you know, maybe too much metal showing. You want to kind of make it look more like a pave type, where it doesn't show all those areas, and then you can move them around or whatever, something like that. But you know, you can play around with that. I'm not going to go into all kinds of items, but you get the gist of it, right? And we can always super select these prongs. Make sure you grab the prong, or you can just, let's go ahead and change them to a different color here real quick. We'll just put them to white. Go ahead and select them, ungroup them, right? And then let's see, which ones do we want to mirror? The ones in the right here. 1, 2, holding down shift, go to our mirror in our X direction, not our Y, and kind of check them out on our other side here. Okay, and there we go. Select all these, select all our white, change them back to purple, and now we can, well, probably let's select these and then select all our white, and we'll just go ahead and group those individually together. Now we have all those grouped, so we can change them to white or go ahead and change them to purple like the rest of them, right? Okay, but you can, you know, play around with that. You can even add, you know, little smaller prongs right here and here, or there's lots you could do, but just take the time to do it, right? And I'm sure you already got the gist of everything. Now what we're going to do is go ahead, grab that, do some cutter action here, place our cutter. Now a lot of times you're going to get stuff like this and lay it out there, and then if your cutters are overlapping a lot, okay, let's show this, because this is probably a good thing to show. So where's my girdle? Girdle offset. So I'm going to drag it out just so that they're all overlapping, right? And then I'll accept that, right? Now, you know, sometimes you just put your cutters in and you go straight to cut. Boolean difference, right? So before you Boolean difference, you'll want to go ahead and grab all your green and join everything together and make sure that you have a closed surface, right? So we have a closed surface right here. So if we take this and we do a Boolean difference with these here and then hit enter, a lot of times when those cutters are overlapping, it blows, right? You're going, whoa, what's going on? What do I do? It's closed surface, and getting all uptight, right? Well, it's probably because your cutters are overlapping. So if we take our cutters and go back, and we'll adjust those cutters, that girdle, so that they're not going to be overlapping with all of the other items, you know, like right there, it's overlapping. There's several things you could do. You could ungroup them and do them a little bit more individually. So let's bring that back some more, just so we can kind of show what's going on. We don't want those cutters touching each other. So let's go ahead and hide this. And then let's turn off these stones, just so we can kind of see where our cutters are. And you got all these overlapping in here, right? So let's bring those up. Let's turn back on our stones real quick so I can kind of make sure it's going past our, yeah, okay. You know, so that, let's turn them off. Just kind of take a look and make sure all your cutters are not overlapping each other. You know, take a little time to, when it blows, or if it blows, take a look at that, because that could kind of resolve the issue for you. So let's go ahead and put on our green again, and we got a closed surface. So let's go back to our Boolean difference, select our green, select our cutters, hit enter, and this time it really should do it without exploding on us, hopefully. Now that I pointed all, and of course it doesn't, so something's a mess here. So let's back out of that. And let's find out, maybe, let's turn off our green. Let's turn off our purple too, so we can kind of really get they don't look like they're overlapping. Okay, so let's turn this on, make sure my surface is closed. So it's kind of giving me some issues for some reason, right? Maybe that cutter's kind of like undercutting there. So let's go back to our cutters and let's go ahead, seat length, placement. Let's drag those up a little bit so that they're more something like, well, something like that there. You could always make your girdle. Where's my girdle here? Girdle thickness thicker, right? So that it kind of, and then do our placement so that they right at the bottom, right? Okay. Just kind of adjust your cutters a little bit. Sometimes will take care of the issue. Whoop, no. Take that, hit enter, take this, hit enter, and let's see if this takes care of it for us. Usually when it takes a really long time, it's going to blow. So yeah, there we go. All right, so we take that, grab this surface and hide it, turn off the stones, and there's our cuts, put on our prongs and put our stones back on, and now you're good to go with the little organic type design item there, right? Just there's, I guess, loft parametric, how you can make sure where the seam goes, right? And then problems with booleans, a lot of times it's usually because your cutters are kind of jacked up and overlapping and stuff like that. But hopefully this helps, and if it does, please go ahead, leave a like, share the content, and again, please, if you have 5 seconds, drop me a comment. Really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Good designing. Hope it helps.